So my topic is arthroscopic pull-out suture-bridge fixation for ACL tibial eminence fractures. As we know, it refers to intra-articular fracture of osseous insertion of ACL at proximal tibia, commonly seen in immature bone. So 3:2 is commonly seen in comparison to usually occurs as the ACL injuries like low axially loaded knee undergoes into hyperextensions and femur rotates externally. Usually untreated displaced fractures results into malunion, non-union, and significant disability in form of flexion deformity, loss of extensions, and operative treatment is suggested for all types. So as we've seen, more common in 8 to 13 years, adults have high velocity trauma. 59% of displaced avulsion have concomitant meniscus, chondral, or log ligament injuries. As seen, Mayers and McCures has classified into 3 groups depending upon the displacement and intact posterior hinge or not. Zerizins classified into 4 types depending upon the combination and rotations of the fragment. X-rays helps in diagnosis of ACL avulsion. So lateral X-rays in flexion and full extension is required to see in case of any impingement or loss of flexion is there. CT scan is used to assess the fractures and degree of combination of the fragment. MRI is required to see for any associated injuries like meniscus, bone contusions, or soft tissue entrapments. So goal of fixations requires anatomical reductions of the displaced fragment and continuity of ACL fibers is required. Adequate rigid fixation which allows early range of movements and eliminate any extension block or impingement due to the displaced fragments. Treatment as known, type 1 requires extension conservatively. Type 2 is controversial treatment depending upon loss of reduction. Later on needs frequent follow-ups. Third and fourth varieties displaced with not intact posterior hinge or combinated fibers requires or fixation in form of open reduction or arthroscopic fixations. Multiple fixation techniques, as we know, are there with can be open or arthroscopically. Fixations with K-wires, cannulated screws, buttons, bioabsorbable nails, suture anchors are there. Arthroscopic pull-out techniques are now preferred techniques as it allows magnified views, acute reductions, minimal soft tissue dissection, stable fixation, and management of associated soft tissue injuries. So surgical technique, I usually preferably do it in a knee hanging position. So fine with hanging position there. We make a high anterolateral portals which allow a top-down view of tibial spine and proper quantification of the fracture fragments and visualization is seen. And a standard anteromedial portal is too. Initial stage requires proper evaluation of the fracture site, debridement of the fat pad for proper visualization, debridement of any tissues or fibrous tissues in the soft tissue bed. As we see, part of intrameniscus ligament is usually gets trapped between the fractures fragment, which causes inadequate reductions of the fracture fragments. So debridement and proper reductions is required. With a probe, we try to see if it's properly getting reduced. We delineate the amount of fractures. We see for any additional fracture line extension on that. We see for any femoral injuries, femoral attachment injuries or intrasubstance tears are there. Later, we pass a suture with multiple suture patching devices like a scorpion or a lasso type of 45 degrees suture lassos can be used. First suture is passed posterior to the ACL. It can be in a lasso formation or a knot formation. Second, it's taken just close to the attachment of ACL at the fragment and through the substance. This can be a lasso formation or a simple formation. I usually prefer tying knot over this, which helps in getting a good suture bridge fixation and adequate reductions. Once suture passage is done, we go to the tibial tunnel. So standard ACL tibial jig can be used and 2.4 mm drill bit pins are used. The drill bit usually comes at the edge of the fracture site. So we have to take care that it should not come into the fracture site or on the cartilage side. So the edge of the fracture site helps in proper reductions. And there should be at least amount of 1 mm of bone bridge between the 2 K-wires on the interior and also on the anterior aspect of tibia. Once is over drilling of the drill with 4.5 and using a ethanol to settle the suture passed to the ACL in both the tunnels are used. One thread of each loop can be passed on each tunnels to achieve a crisscross formation and proper reductions of the ACL fragment. Once the sutures are settled, Tight holding of the sutures on the tibia helps in deductions. We confirm the deduction of the fracture site and also confirm any impingement or loose fragment around there. And tight on the anterior aspect of the, you can use a button or a suture disc along with it to prevent any bone bridge injuries. In skeletal immature patients, use of C-arm along with arthroscopic helps in prevention of damage to the physis. This is added advantages of suture bridge as no implant is used here. There are a lot of review literatures which shows better results with arthroscopic suture bridge techniques. So, plus along with suture bridge technique, use of endopatent fixations, as HAPA has seen, provides great initial fixation strength in compared to the suture anchor fixation and fixation with high suture strength. Advantages, as we have seen, is a simple technique, strong fixation achieved owing to suture-based fixations, cost saving, shows good anatomical reductions, can be used in skeletally immature patients, and there is no use of any intra-articular hardware fixations or an avoidance of related complications are seen. Disadvantages are special precautions are required to avoid iatrogenic fractures of the fractures. So avoid drilling through the small fragments or avoid holding the fragments with a jig or K-wires. There is potential of bone bridge fractures, hence use of a suture disc or a button along with a bone bridge can be useful. Thank you very much.